Today, I will show you an action-adventure sci-fi film from 2016 titled The Osiris Child. Spoilers ahead. It's some point in the distant future, and humans have started to colonize the universe. The off-Earth military contractor company, Exor, housed in a huge complex in the sky, looks down upon a desolate world that is home to a penal colony and the capital city of Osiris. Up there with the complex exists the Flotilla, a military base. In charge of supporting new settlements is Lieutenant Kane Somerville, a conflicted war hero who left Earth after an accident on an early combat mission he led because of a mistake he made that resulted in the death of nearly all of his crew. The higher-ups accused him of substance abuse, and while he was pardoned of the case thanks to his decorated career as a fighter pilot, he and his family were never the same afterward. Living in the Flotilla makes it hard for him to see his 11-year-old daughter, Indy Somerville. Today he's taking her out on a ride through the planet's desert, although she is not impressed by such empty wasteland. Indy tells him her mom thinks he's running away, but he deflects the comment by saying he hasn't talked to her in a long time, and that he is proud to be part of a project that builds humanity's new future. To get on his daughter's good graces, he lends her his weapon and teaches her how to shoot before they go back to the new bunkers together. When they are done, Indy is sent to Osiris City to stay with a nanny, since she isn't allowed up in the Flotilla with him. Kane promises her he will be back in a week and she can call him anytime. After a glimpse of the monsters that lurk in the wasteland during the night, morning comes for Kane in the Flotilla. His AI Travis wakes him up and prepares his breakfast for him while playing his messages. Kane ignores the one from his coworker and his wife, but he does listen to Indy's while looking at some reports. The message is suddenly cut short, however, and when Kane asks Travis to restore it, the AI says it can't because all communications to the surface have been temporarily disrupted after disturbances in prison. The person in charge of the Exor complex is General Linux, who is considered the kind of person that is more concerned with her own place in the universe than the people who actually live in it. She is currently receiving a status report of the colony after the prison has been breached. Some creatures that Exor itself created have gotten inside and have been killing prisoners. The outer cities are also gone, and it is a matter of time before the monsters kill everyone on the surface. The Colonel wants to save as many lives as possible, but Linux thinks this will destroy the reputation of the company, so she decides to call a meeting to present an alternative plan. However, she lies to the attendees, who include Kane. She tells them the prisoners have rioted and are in possession of a lethal virus Exor has experimented on, and now they are using it to hold the planet hostage. If Exor tries anything to intervene or rescue people, they will release the pathogen in the capital. This calls for Protocol 84, which requires the entire decimation of the colony. Linux says that if prisoners hear of it, they will be able to negotiate a better deal. They have 23 hours to achieve it, and Linux promised everyone but the people in the capital and her employees' families will be fine. After the meeting is over, Linux orders the Colonel to put a tag on every attendee to keep an eye on them for those following 23 hours. If there is any unusual movement, that they should be isolated. Desperate after hearing the news, Kane tries to contact Indy to no avail, and when he asks Travis for reports on the prison incident, he is told they are classified. The Colonel takes pity on him, and for the sake of their friendship, he tells Kane the truth. There is no virus. What Exor has been secretly working on all these years is the creation of creatures called Ragged that would be shipped and used in the creation of new colonies. There is no hostage situation. The monsters have escaped and are moving towards the main city. In 23 hours, Exor would blow up the reactors. Kane gets angry with him for having been lied to and allowed to bring his family when he knew what was going on under the surface. But the Colonel doesn't have time to argue. He tells Kane they are going to lock down the hangar bay in 20 minutes, after which nobody will be able to enter or leave the station. Kane decides to do what he does best, piloting. He steals a ship and leaves the station, flying with outstanding talent to dodge the shooting from the officers that chase him. But when he forces the ship to exceed G-force to destroy the last Exor guard, he begins to lose consciousness and the emergency system takes over, ejecting his seat. Snapping out of it at the last second, Kane manages to take off his seatbelt and open the parachute, allowing him to safely land in the water. That is, until he stands up and a mysterious figure knocks him out with a weapon. Kane wakes up on the ground and finds the person that dragged him there is Cy Lombrock, who is now pointing a gun at him. He tries to explain the situation by using a lie about the prisoners having access to the reactors, but turns out Cy was a nurse at the prison, so he knows he isn't telling the truth. To convince him of the story about the planet going to blow up soon, Kane tells him he wants to save his daughter, who is currently staying at the capital, and that he will give Cy access to a safety bunker if he helps him rescue her, so Cy accepts. A flashback begins then, and Cy can be seen as a prisoner in the planet's jail. He is having lunch with another two inmates, Vim and Crete, while discussing a plan to escape using information another prisoner called Carmel has given Cy. Crete thinks it is a suicide mission, but Cy thinks the time is now or never. so Crete and Vim agree to it when they get confirmation that an inmate called Bostock and his group are also in. For the next step of the plan, all of them need to be in solitary confinement to find the right exit. Carmel tries to be sent to solitary, but instead, he is dragged into a meeting with Warden Mordain, who makes fun of him for being religious and tells him he won't send him to solitary anymore before beating him up while 2 officers hold him. Meanwhile, Sai starts a fight in the mess hall, which is interrupted by Mordain and the guards, to everyone's surprise, allow the fight to continue as long as the crowd behaves. Since this is part of the plan, Crete doesn't behave and hurts the man hitting Sai, inciting a riot and causing the guards to get involved to stop them. The prisoners are sent to solitary, which consists of special rotating cells with flashing lights that can have maddening effects on the prisoners' minds. Sai is staying there too until Mordain comes to take him and Vim away for a very special purpose. Back in the present, Sai points out to Kane that they won't make it to the capital in time. Kane says on foot they won't, but there's a contraband outpost beyond the mountains where they can find a vehicle. Their talk is interrupted when ships fly by and the men crash to hide in the tall grass. This means Exor is already looking for Kane. Moments later, they make it to a bar in the outpost where Jip and Bill are having fun by throwing knives at a human-shaped target. The barwoman tells Kane that the couple is the owner of the bus outside, so he tries to talk to them, but they get angry because he's interrupted their game. Jip puts a knife on his neck while Bill calls him out, so Sai intervenes and tells them Kane is an Exor deflector that just wants to see his family. He is also willing to pay them 20 grand for the trip. Bill accepts as long as Kane is able to pass Jip's test, which consists of getting high and throwing a knife at the target. Kane's aim is perfect, so he passes the test, and the 4 of them agree to leave and take a detour to buy some weapons. After another flashback begins in jail, Vim wakes up inside a cage and sees a monster approaching him. The creature hits his neck with its tongue and injects him with some kind of dangerous substance. Sai can hear him screaming from the other room as he also wakes up inside a cage. Mordain is nearby too. He begins to explain Exor's terraforming project to him and how they are creating these creatures by mutating prisoners, transforming them into a being capable of evolution and adaptation no matter the environment. Suddenly, Sai disappears when the floor opens under him and he shows up in another room where Bostock is waiting for him, having executed the plan successfully. He has obtained clothes and fake IDs, including one that says Sai is a nurse, but their preparations are interrupted by Crete, who says he has to let the devil loose. The prisoners start running away as the creature begins killing everyone in the building, including the monster that used to be Vim, who now kills Mordain. Bostock and Crete want to leave for the capital, but Sai tells them he can't go with them because he wants to go to the opera, so they separate. There is another jump in time, and now Earth can be seen 2 years ago. Sai's being told he'll be sent to prison for 20 years, maybe 15, and that he will be painted as a monster because he breached the code and betrayed the public's trust. Sai thinks nothing matters anymore. Back in the present, Kane and Sai are waiting for their weapons they ordered. They're brought by 2 men, Mandel and Joe, who asked for 30 grand as payment. Kane pays them the amount they want and the group leaves. As soon as they're out of sight, the men celebrate their new money. After drinking and dancing, they notice something weird in the distance. It's the monsters coming to attack them. Joe and Mandel try to defend themselves by shooting them through the windows, but while they manage to kill a couple, the rest of the creatures still get inside their shack. Joe sees no other options but to detonate a grenade. Later in the evening, Kane is telling everyone on the bus about the monsters and the bomb that will go out in 4 hours. They have a philosophical talk about how they got there, destiny, and consequences. They also chat about the ethics behind using prisoners for free labor. When they make it to Osiris a couple of hours later, the city is in utter chaos because of the monsters attacking at every corner and infecting more humans to mutate them. The group gets their weapons out and agree that while Kane goes out to find his daughter with Sai, Jip and Bill will provide cover and protect the bus. The couple shoots all the monsters that come close as Kane and Sai enter the building Indy lives in. They come across one of the neighbors who tells them he hasn't seen Indy before letting them go upstairs. They break into the apartment and find that the nanny has died, but Indy is safe because she has been hiding in the closet. After telling Indy that her nanny has gone home to protect her from the truth, the 3 of them try to take the stairs, but they're blocked by a monster, so they will have to find another way out. Meanwhile, Jip has dragged Bill back inside the bus because he's been hurt by a creature. She tries to find a first aid kit to no avail, so she must watch Bill die in her arms. Kane, Sai, and Indy make it to the roof of the building and lock the door behind them. Seeing as there is no other way out, Sai grabs Indy and jumps off the roof, safely landing on top of the bus. Kane follows them afterward but almost falls. Thankfully, Sai grabs him and tells him to get on top of the bus with them. They start hitting the hatch and begging Jip to open it and let them in, but Jip is hesitating because of what happened to Bill. Eventually she gives in and opens the hatch for them before starting the bus to drive them away, as Sai uses a blanket to cover Jip's body. Kane explains to his daughter what's happening and apologizes to her for not being in her life more. Indy accepts to forgive him. He also gives Jip directions to the bunker and makes sure everyone learns the code to get inside. In the XOR complex, Linux is in the process of starting Protocol 84 when she's informed of a bus approaching one of their bunkers, so she sends a ship after them. It's Indy that sees her through the window, so Kane makes her hide before telling Jip not to take the turn so that the ship doesn't learn where they are going. After following them for a little while, the ship leaves, and Jip makes the turn towards the bunker then. They almost make it, but suddenly, the ship appears in front of them and starts shooting, leaving only after it runs out of ammo. Jip and Kane have been killed, but Sai and Indy are alright. Indy doesn't want to leave her dad, but they have no time to waste. Sai picks her up and takes her off the bus to try to reach the bunker. A monster finds them on the way and chases them through the caves, managing to infect Sai with its tongue as he shoots it dead. They find the bunker entrance and Indy inputs the code. Both she and Sai successfully get inside right before the planet gets bombed. However, Sai is starting to transform into a monster, so he asks Indy to find him something sharp to kill himself. Indy refuses because she can't do this by herself, so she talks to him and touches him as his body mutates. Another flashback shows Sai's life as a nurse at a hospital on Earth. He goes through a breakdown when the patients they bring in are his wife and daughter, and neither of them make it. So he abuses his position as a nurse to enter the room of the guy that caused the accident that has killed his family, to punch him and try to choke him before security stops him. Back in the present, many days have passed since the explosion. Two explorers find the bunker and see Indy in the distance, wearing a spacesuit. They're attacked by Sai, who's become a monster, but he has kept some rationality thanks to Indy. And after killing one explorer, they use the chance to interrogate the other about what's going on out there. The explorer explains that the flotilla is on its way back to Earth because it was recalled after the disaster. And the story they're telling everyone is that the prisoners revolted and took control of the reactors, causing a meltdown with no survivors. Indy tells her that if she wants to live, she'll take her inside to the flotilla undetected. The woman has no other choice but to accept. They board the explorer's ship, and the woman watches Indy and Sai interact through sign language before Indy pets his head and holds his hand, telling him that they're finally going home and saying goodbye to her dad. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.